Now, fast forward recently to Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, goes viral, but not for football, but for how he structured his contract. He had an equity clause in his deal with Gatorade. That clause basically said, I'm not just here as a name or a body. I want part of what's being built off of me. I want ownership in the outcome. So that clause essentially just preserved his interest. And he didn't walk away with just a one-time check. He walked away with his corrected status in the contract, and he claimed his equity.
The NFL is shaking right now because Shedeur Sanders just turned his back on a $2 million offer without even blinking. That's not just a headline. That's a straight-up power play. Front offices are scrambling, agents are sweating, and everyone's asking the same thing. How can a rookie flip the whole script like this? Is Shedeur rewriting the rules on what it means to bet on yourself? Or does he know something the league doesn't? Either way, his choice has the NFL rattled, and the shockwaves are only getting started. Rejecting $2 million before even throwing a single pass? That's not bold. It's historic. That's the type of move that makes boardrooms clutch their pearls while frantically Googling, what is leverage? This isn't just a ripple through the NFL. It's a tsunami crashing over every executive still living in the fantasy that rookies should survive on ramen noodles and free sneakers. Shedeur Sanders didn't just say no to money. He said no to an entire dusty playbook that's been running since the leather helmet days.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is, of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better thing.
For decades, rookies smiled, signed whatever was shoved in front of them, and played the grateful kid role like they were being forced to eat vegetables. Not this time. Shedeur walked into the league, glanced at a $2 million check, smirked, and basically said, "Cute, now do better." In that moment, he stopped being just a quarterback and became every old-school sports agent's worst nightmare. A walking panic attack in cleats. Because here's the raw truth. Shedeur isn't chasing the bag. He's building the empire. And no, that's not some corny motivational line. It's a full-on business strategy. Most rookies see $2 million as security, but Shedeur saw it as a ceiling.
That's what I'm talking about.
One of them is going to be
speaking into existence.
And the latter one would not go behind 4. Now, all this is subjective because I know where I want them to go. And let's not forget shallow, okay? But I know where I want.
He's not moving like a player. He's moving like a venture capitalist strapped with arm talent. Why grab crumbs when you can run the whole bakery? Why sign away control when you already own the timeline, the merch drops, the memes, and the comment section? This isn't just football. It's business warfare. And Shedeur just fired the first shot. The entire power dynamic just got flipped on its head. Normally, rookies are supposed to sit quiet, smile wide, and be grateful just to step in the room. They're the ones at the end of the buffet line, scraping for cold chicken wings while the vets slice up the filet mignon. But Shedeur? He didn't even bother with a plate. He strolled in, glanced at the spread, and decided he'd rather open his own restaurant across the street. And suddenly, the NFL's hierarchy doesn't look like a pyramid anymore. It looks like a wobbly house of cards about to collapse in the wind.
Tonight, Shedeur Sanders made the entire National Football League look like a whole bunch of petty fools. In some cases, racist fools. In many cases, Deion despising.
Behind the curtain, it's chaos. Brands are scrambling, execs are sweating through those overpriced suits, and agents are staring at their playbooks like someone swapped them for IKEA manuals with missing screws. The whole NFL marketing machine thrives on rookies being desperate. That's how they lowball deals, slap a logo on your chest, and milk your shine while it's cheap. But the second one, rookie stands tall and says, nah, the entire structure shakes. Because here's the nightmare scenario. If Shedeur can walk away, what's stopping every other young star from doing the same? Nothing terrifies the old guard more than a generation of players realizing they don't need the system, they can build their own. This isn't just about one quarterback anymore. This is about negotiations turning into power battles where money alone isn't enough. Now, it's about respect, alignment, and strategic control. Translation: if you want Shedeur Sanders, you better bring more than dollar signs. You need vision, you need equity, and for God's sake, you need cultural relevance. Let's be real. Why lock yourself into a dusty partnership when you can pull in the same bag just rocking your own hoodie on Instagram? And the best part? He keeps it all, not a cut, not a slice, the entire damn pie. This wasn't some impulsive stunt. This was chess, not checkers. The timing on this was slick, like a Super Bowl halftime show. Training camps are heating up, the media's thirsty for rookie drama, preseason stories are bubbling, and right in the middle of it all, bam! Shedeur drops the rejection like it's a surprise mixtape. Suddenly, every sports show, every blog, every group chat is on fire with debates. Executives are spiraling, fans are divided, and the rookies? Oh, they're watching closely and taking notes, because this wasn't just about dollars. It was a clinic in leverage. One domino falls and the whole damn table rattles. And of course, the backlash came fast. Whispers of arrogance, entitlement, and not knowing your place. But let's be clear, this isn't just a quarterback betting on himself. This is a quarterback who's already profitable, and that's a straight-up nightmare for the system that counts on rookies being broke enough to say yes. Back in the old days, turning down $2 million was career suicide, the kind of stunt that had agents blowing out their lungs screaming. But this isn't the old days, it's 2025. This is the NIL era, where influence moves faster than contracts, and clout is just as valuable as cash. Shedeur doesn't need a brand stamp of approval when he's already running revenue streams most companies can't even match. He's not chasing the future. He is the prototype of the modern athlete, the kind who measures legacy not just in rings, but in reach. That rejection? It wasn't about money, it was about narrative control. Endorsements used to be golden tickets. Brands picked you, polished you up, and fed you one safe line. That model's dead. Shedeur is the media now. He doesn't need a 30-second commercial when one Instagram story can shift the whole culture. He doesn't need a corporate tagline when his merch drops already write themselves. Why trade that kind of influence for a flat check? Spoiler alert, he wouldn't. And here's the wildest part. The NFL has no clue how to handle this mess. Picture it. A league that spent decades treating rookies like unpaid interns, suddenly watching a fifth-rounder swat away millions like he's a billionaire haggling at a garage sale. Imagine being a brand thinking rookies are still desperate for scraps, only to realize this new generation walks in with more clout than half your ad department combined. It's chaos, delicious, overdue chaos, and the league knows it. Somewhere right now, you can bet a VP is sitting in a corner office, redlining contract templates with tears dripping on the paper. Because what comes next is bigger than one rookie. It's athlete-first equity deals, creative control baked into contracts, partnerships built on authenticity instead of recycled slogans, and launches that feel more like cultural events than boring commercials. And here's the kicker. Rookies walking into the league with leverage instead of begging for scraps. That's the old guard's worst nightmare, because once players realize they don't need crumbs, the whole kitchen shuts down. Shedeur didn't just burn the dusty playbook. He rewrote it with emojis, hashtags, and a grin. The old script said, "Don't rock the boat." He set the yacht on fire and peeled off on a jet ski of independence. Critics can call it cocky, but anyone paying attention knows it's pure clarity. He knows his worth, and by saying no, he proved that self-value isn't just a flex, it's a revolution. Because let's be real, he didn't just reject a check, he rejected the entire system that printed it. And the ripple effect? It's already exploding into shockwaves across sports, fashion, tech, and music. Every industry that thought talent would always settle for crumbs just because the check cleared is realizing checks aren't enough anymore. And the scariest part for the old guard? This is only chapter 1. Watching brands scramble after Shedeur's rejection was like watching Wall Street interns on their 7th Red Bull, panicking, sweating, and trying not to pass out. The NFL isn't built for rookies calling the shots. They're used to quarterbacks begging for leftover sponsorship scraps, smiling through cheesy ads like they're auditioning for a bargain bin deodorant commercial. But Shedeur, he didn't just turn down money, he bruised their ego. And that's what stings the most. The NFL machine runs on the belief that athletes are just replaceable cogs in a giant wheel. But here comes a cog that stared the whole machine down and said, "Actually, I'll build my own engine." That flips the narrative completely. This cultural shift is way bigger than people admit. Once upon a time, athletes sold sneakers, cereal, or whatever random box a marketing team shoved in their hands. The formula was simple: smile, pose, cash the check. But Shedeur, he's not pushing someone else's brand. He is the brand. And the league hates it. They don't want a rookie quarterback moving like a Fortune 500 CEO, but that's exactly what's happening right in front of them. You can practically feel the anxiety dripping from NFL headquarters. Somewhere in a sleek boardroom, an exec is staring at a PowerPoint titled "Reassessing Rookie Marketability" while silently screaming into his Starbucks cup. They know the whole endorsement playbook is about to crumble. Athletes aren't begging for seats at the table anymore. They're building the table, owning the table, and charging admission just to sit at the table. And Shedeur's rejection? That was the proof. Before even throwing a single NFL touchdown, he shredded the illusion that athletes should be grateful accessories. He reminded the world of the obvious. The athletes are the attraction, not the props. The fans don't fill stadiums for soda. They come for the stars. They don't come for the brands, they come for the players. And here's the cold math. $2 million sounds like a life-changing bag until you realize Shedeur can pull that same number on his own through merch drops, media deals, and personal ventures. That endorsement offer wasn't a blessing. It was a discount. The brand wasn't paying him what he's worth. They were paying what they thought they could slide by with. His rejection wasn't emotional. It was a market correction. And of course, the critics came crawling out of the shadows, running the same tired routine, labeling any confident black athlete as arrogant, entitled, or not focused. It's the same dusty playbook they used on Cam Newton, LeBron James, and anybody else bold enough to act like a man with agency instead of a rented body and shoulder pads. But Shedeur isn't arrogant. He's aware. That wasn't luck. That was strategy. He didn't just reject a deal, he hijacked the news cycle. That's the ultimate flex every athlete wants but rarely grabs. While most rookies tiptoe around controversy just to grab crumbs, Shedeur flipped the script. He turned controversy into his stage and rejection into his currency. Owning the conversation before taking a single NFL snap? That's not arrogance, that's chess. Now let's talk legacy, because that's where it gets scary for the old guard. Shedeur isn't chasing headlines or a fast paycheck. He's building a long-term empire. Other athletes are watching and realizing they don't have to sell their image for pennies anymore. His rejection wasn't rebellion, it was a blueprint. Imagine rookies in the future turning down shoe deals, soda commercials, and junk endorsements because they finally see their real value. That's the nightmare brands don't want to face, the floodgates opening. And you better believe the pushback will be vicious. Executives and commentators will scream about focus, distractions, and humility. They'll pretend this is about football, but it's not. It's about power. Nothing scares the NFL more than athletes realizing they don't have to play by the rules designed to keep them small. Instead, they're dealing with a businessman in cleats who knows his worth better than the league ever will. And that's the wound that stings the most. This was never just about money, it's about independence. Shedeur didn't just say no. He said, "I don't need you to be me." And once that idea spreads, the old endorsement empire crumbles. The panic isn't really about Shedeur rejecting $2 million. It's about every single athlete who sees it and realizes they can do the exact same thing. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.